Hello, this is Victor, and welcome to a new Warhammer or unit review. This time I will review the different Land Rider variants from the Grey Knights that are also the same, if I'm not wrong, that we can find on the Space Marine Codex. So I will not review any other variants that are in Forgeable or in other books. I just review the three basic variants. So to be more concrete, these are the units that I have under review in that video. So we have the Land Rider with twin link cannon and heavy bolter, same with multi-melta, and I will see how the performance is dropping when moving. I will review the Crusader also with the multi-melta and see also the drop when moving, and I will also check the Redeemer also with multi-melta without and with movement. And as usual in other videos, I will start looking the efficiency of shooting against infantry. And as you can see here, I compare the Land Rider variants to different units from the Grey Knight Codex that I reviewed before. So in particular, I will compare him to the Dread Knight, to Purgation Squad with sea cannons, to Terminator Strike Squad, and I will also add Chaos Space Marines to add something different, and is the unit with two plasma guns. So if we look at the shooting to light infantry, we see that the best variant is the Redeemer at short range, but here we have to be careful, and it's also the best variant against heavy infantry. But here we have to be careful. The flamers are very short range, so can happen very easily that you can only shoot one of the two flamers because the positioning is not adequate to shoot both flamers under the same target. So here, if you are able to use the Spirit Machine, you can shoot different targets with the flamers, but that is what is going to happen most of the times to keep the efficiency. Of course, when you are moving and you are doing snapshots, because here when I consider the movement, I consider the 12-inch movement, and in that case we can see the two extremes. So the what happens if we move 12 and what happens if we don't move. So, and we can assume that moving 6 is going to be something in between these two numbers. So the flamers, you only can shoot one of the flamers at short range. So we have to take this into account, while the other weapons you still have snapshots. If we compare the Land Riders to other options, we see that the Purgation is much better against infantry than the Land Riders in shooting, and also the Chaos Space Marines are better. Remember that here what I'm considering are normalized is normal, so it's the efficiency per point cost. So meaning that the difference in points, so if two units have the same efficiency but one unit is costing the double, when I normalize, the unit will have half of the efficiency. So the only thing that we can say is that the last cannon variant is the only one that have long range capacity. I'm not very concerned to have long range. I think Land Rider, the main function is to move a unit inside close to the enemy. If not, there will be other or better choices to shoot. If you want a shooting platform, I think you are not. Land Rider is not the best option. I think Land Rider should be used as a transport and then shooting platform once the delivery have been done. So here you can see against infantry, as we expected, the last cannon variant is the worst of the three Land Riders, but there are some infantry options that are more efficient when we talk about shooting. Also, if we compare to the Dread Knight at medium range is more efficient than the Land Rider, especially the variant with Gatling silencer and heavy sea cannon. If we look now at the capacity shooting monsters, we see that now the Redeemer is not anymore that it's not that good compared to the other Land Riders, and we'll see that more or less the three Land Riders have the same capacity to shoot monsters and flying monsters. Of course, the Redeemer will not be able to use the flamers against flying monsters, and here is even more visible that Dread Knight and Purgation squads can have more punch against monstrous creatures and flying monstrous creatures, especially because they can deliver a lot of shots. Yeah, Purgation will drop a lot if they move, so you need to put them at 60 to be compared. But also Land Rider, when moving, is dropping his efficiency by half. So again, if you can see also, Chaos Space Marines with 2 plasma guns are not a bad choice neither. So are not very inefficient compared to the Land Rider. So again, what I want to show here is Land Rider have a good shooting capacity, but it's not the best way to use it, just only for shooting capacity. If we look now, the ability to shoot other vehicles, we can see that the Land Rider with twin lineless cannons is not much better than the Land Rider Crusader, especially when we add the multi-melta. The reason is that the assault cannon combined with the multi-melta are giving a good punch also against vehicles. So the only difference is that the Land Rider with twin lineless cannons will be able to shoot at long distances to other vehicles. If we then compare them to other units, we see that even the Strike Squad can have more punch against vehicles, and if we compare to Purgation Squad stationary, there is no comparison. The Purgation Squad will be much more efficient against vehicles. So it's confirming what we have seen on the on the previous slides, that they have the Land Rider have a good shooting power, but we pay a lot of points. So we have to use the Land Rider in a different way than only as a shooting platform. If we look at the overall score in shooting, what is curious is that the 3 Land Riders have almost the same points. Especially if we look the combination, we look when we add the multi-melta. So from here, I will say that for me the best choice of the 3 Land Riders will be the Land Rider Crusader. Why? Is the most flexible, is not the best against any of the different targets that we analyze in that present, but it's never the worst and half punch against all the different enemies. And yeah, he will not have capacity long range, but I think the Land Rider is going to be most of the times between medium and short range, because what we want to do is to deliver a unit in front of the enemy. If we compare to other units in the Grey Knight Codex, we see that Land Rider is not the best choice if we compare to the Red Knight, or if we compare to Purgation Squad. Even if we compare to the Strike Squad stationary, they have better shooting capacity than Land Rider. And Chaos Space Marine with 2 plasmas also have a good number, so have the same type of punctuation, or very similar to a Land Rider. So the conclusion here is the 3 Land Riders have more or less same shooting capacity. Of course, the twin lineless cannon is going to be better against monsters and especially against vehicles, while the Firestorm is going to be very dangerous at short range against infantry. And we find in the middle the Land Rider Crusader that is good in medium short range, especially with the twin wing assault cannon and the multi-melta, and it has a very good capacity also against light infantry with the Hurricane Bolters. If we look at the resistance compared to other units, the Land Rider have better scoring than other units. The other unit that has similar score is the Red Knight with Sanctuary. Terminators and Chaos Space Marines are not far. The reason is Terminators have the invulnerable save that against anti-vehicle and special weapons is giving some extra resistance, and the Chaos Space Marines are so cheap that you can afford to lose more than the other units. Cheap compared to the other units in this list, of course. We will need to increase this list later on using cheaper units. So overall, the Land Rider is quite resistant, but here what we have to watch out is that if we look now at the anti-tank weapons, the resistance to anti-tank weapons, we see that they are one of the worst here in the list, meaning that it's very easy, or it's easier compared to other units to cause damage and to start losing points if we are shot by anti-tank weapons. And here I also want to add here in the stats, if we receive a shot of Melta at short range, we are almost have almost 20% of probabilities if we receive the hit to destroy us. Here we have to take into account that, for example, if it's shot by Imperial Guard, we have to divide it by 2 because it's the probability of hitting you. So we have to multiply by 0.66 if we shoot by a Marine or ballistic skill 4. Also, thanks to the new rules, the probability that the last cannon hit is killing you in one shot is only 2.8%. So yeah, there is this possibility, but it's very low today. So for me, the main concern are weapons, are Melta especially, and weapons with AP1 and high strength. I don't know if there is any weapon like strength 10 and AP1. So yeah, Land Rider is adding a lot of resistance, is almost invulnerable to most of the weapons, but anti-tank can still do damage. The 4 hull points are guaranteeing some resistance, and is making one of the most resistant units that we analyzed up to now. But against anti-tank, we can see that the resistance is dropping compared to other units. So, as a conclusion, I will say first, I think Crusader, Land Rider Crusader, is the best option today of the 3 I analyzed. It's the most flexible one, have good anti-infantry, have good potential anti-vehicle with the Melta and the assault cannon. I will always include the multi-Melta for 10 points. Is adding is increasing the efficiency of the shooting of the tank. We have to take into account that maybe the first 2 turns we are going to drop in efficiency in shooting because we are going to move as much as possible to the enemy to drop a unit of Terminators, a unit of Assault Squad, anything that we want to deliver in front of the enemy. Land Rider, of course, as we expected, it have very good resistance, but we have to be very careful against anti-tank and especially against Melta. What that means for me is that, for example, the Redeemer that have to fight very close or have to be very close to the enemy to take profit of the flamers, the special flamers it have, is very vulnerable to any Melta weapon because you have to be very close to your enemy. While if you can keep your tank at the range of between 12 and 24 inches, then the risk of receiving a Melta shot is dropping a lot. And you can also use more cover because you will have more distance between the enemy. We also need to avoid in any vehicle, although this vehicle have armor 14, we need to avoid also to be assaulting close combat, especially if we have enemy units with Melta Grenades or Devolution Grenades, because they will kill a Land Rider. They can kill the Land Rider in just 1 turn. Also, we have to be careful that with the accumulation of points, especially if we play milestone missions, because will mean that we will have a lot of points of our army concentrated in 1 point, and we will reduce our efficiency in capturing all other objectives. So we have to be careful not to abuse of the Land Rider, because if we start adding the Land Rider plus Terminators plus HQ there, easily we can go to 700 points, and then we will have half of our army just in one spot of the battlefield. So it will be very difficult to cover other parts of the battlefield. So this is all what I want to share in that video. I hope you find it informative and useful. Please comment, like if you like it, subscribe if you're not subscribed. And thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.